triplet, 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 triplet. I'm so confused. Look at me go. Triplet, 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 triplet.
You ready? Is that the face?
Is it recording?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We met at the Alchemy when it was still the Alchemy. Now it's like a burger place. And Dustin Belt introduced us because he said, "Hey, she bowls and you bowl. Go say hi." And then friendship.
Boom, that's how it happens. Like 3 or 4 years ago, we met.
This guy. What?
No, I kind of give credit to her. So she had the idea of actually producing the podcast. I think she had noticed that I wanted to start a podcast. So I kind of give credit to her. I just remember one day at work, I get a text that says, "Hey, when do you want to record?" And I was like, what the fuck? I'm actually starting a podcast? And I was like, very excited. Initially, I thought it was her and I being in the podcast. And then I was thinking of names. I'm like, what do you want to name it? What should we do? And I kept saying we, and she's like, listen, it's going to be you. It's going to be you. I'm going to be doing the back end work, and you're going to be doing everything else. So, yeah. So I give kind of credit to her, but as far as
it was him.
Okay, fair
yeah,
enough.
it's
fair
you.
enough.
I go on kicks of different musicians, but I think DIWT is currently my top obsession right now.
Mine's always going to be Sigrid.
Yeah, that's also, I binged her a lot after you showed me.
Yeah,
like,
Deanna's like, it's not anything special. And then she's
I was
like bopping her
4
all
weeks later,
since.
I did a cover. I was like, I love her.
Sigrid's a pop artist from Norway. Check her out, please.
Yeah, super awesome. Advance Upon Me, Brethren by Reflections.
Okay.
It's like my favorite band ever.
Mine would be Solidarity by Inashikari, most likely. Or if I really want to get heavy, probably something by Loathe. Loathe is a great band from England. Alright, so what started my passion for the podcast? So after Deanna brought up the idea to, hey, let's start a podcast, or you should start a podcast, I was thinking to myself, what doesn't Omaha have at the time? And I don't think Omaha, to my knowledge, has a podcast where anybody sits down with the local musicians, whether it's an interview like on the radio station. I just thought it would be a good idea to speak with a guest, so speak with somebody in the local music scene, find out where they started, where they're at now, what they plan on doing, and everything in between. Just find out great stories about them, and like I said, where they started, the origins.
Origin stories.
Yeah. We're gonna say it on 3?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
3.
Alex Sloan.
That was our very first one, and it was just so wholesome. He had so much great information to share, and it's just.
Although I'll give
kickoff.
credit to both of your Last Chance guys. I feel like as far as both of those podcasts went, I think we stayed on topic the whole entire time, and both those guys are just great conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I hope one day that this will be notable in Omaha, that everybody will be familiarized. Well, I guess everybody in the music scene will be familiarized with the podcast. I hope that people will tune in to see what their local music artists are doing, whether it's what their next show is going to be, what projects they're working on in the future are going to be. I just want them to tune in, find out about the artist, be able to see them at a show and conversate. That's the main goal. You can answer the performing one.
It depends. Depends on the style. Depends what it means to you. Like you can sing a karaoke song and like I know that's not what it's talking about, and it means whatever, but like if the song is relevant to your life, the lyrics mean something and you're performing it, I feel like it's a whole other level than when you're just listening to it.
I think for me it's probably listening. I've never performed in front of a live audience, although listening, there's some songs that just hit you in the feels. Like for example, Dear Neighbor, I just listened to a whole bunch of their songs today. I just want to like cry. So thanks a lot, Cody Pedersen, Corey Korth, and the rest of the Dear Neighbor band.
Picture Corey holding you, crying into blowing your nose in his hair.
Oh no, not his gray hair. That'd be so bad.
I don't think it's style. I think it's anything. Like I love all types of music, and any type of music can make you get goosebumps.
Yeah, I think as far as what songs give me goosebumps, a very good two-step gives me goosebumps. If I watch a live video, let's say of Architects, when they sing Gone with the Wind, and he does that speech beforehand, and then he goes out and kills it, ooh,
Yeah.
gives me right.
Sometimes that happens too. Like I've seen hotel books, and just the way they talk to you just
Just
interacts
connects.
with the crowd. Even Convictions the other night was just, they're always about the listener.
Right.
Yeah. None. I am not a podcast listener. I've seen like 2 or 3 of Joe Rogan's, and that's about it. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I listen to Joe Rogan pretty regularly. There's another podcast I listen to called Fighter and the Kid. It's with this guy named Brendan Schaub, who was an ex-MMA fighter, and then a comedian named Brian Callen. I listen to this one, Generation Y, which is it's like true crime. So they go over like disappearances, murders. And then the last one I listened to is called Wrongful Convictions, which is pretty self-explanatory.
I forgot. I have listened to podcasts before. There's Off Topic by Achievement Hunter on YouTube. They're just like a gaming channel, them, Rooster Teeth, and like Funhouse, all of them. I love watching their types of podcasts.
Yeah, so kind of reiterating on, I guess, the idea for the podcast. I think the Omaha music scene has so much talent that not a lot of people know about unless you're, I guess, in the scene, right? So everybody knows everybody in the scene. You go to a show, you'll be like, hey, there's Alex, hey, there's so-and-so. And I think exposure is going to make the scene, I guess, grow. And that's, I guess, my vision for it when I first started. The Omaha music scene, like I said, it's great, but more people need to know about it, for sure. All right, so mine, I would say, it's a pretty big stretch. Jocelyn, she goes by Jocelyn Music on Facebook. Check her out. She has a whole bunch of bops. Jeremy Schaefer from Earth Groans, and then Lindsay Ray on YouTube, or it's Lindsay Ray on Facebook.
Metal Kitchen.
There you go, Metal Kitchen. She's pretty famous for that, but she's a part of the band called The Anchor.
Yeah. I think Kayla Venus is a very beautiful, talented woman. It would be very cool to have her. One of my good friends, Bach Mai, we've been talking a little bit with him, and I think he would be also a great addition.
Benefits of having a podcast. I think it's made it easier to communicate with people in the music scene. So maybe people you haven't talked to before, but you know because of connections. I think it's easier to approach people just because you're friends with a lot of these other people. And as far as, I guess, people with social anxiety, I don't really necessarily have it. I'm a social butterfly. But I feel like it's so much easier to walk up and talk to somebody and be like, hey, great set. Let's talk after this. Let's go into, I guess, detail about your set. Let's talk about as silly as it sounds, let's talk about your snare drum. Let's talk about your setup. Let's talk about your guitar rig. It's just so much easier now.
I agree. I'm going to actually chime in. I've also, now know of bands I've never heard of, and I've learned just, the crazy potential that all the bands here have. And, everyone's like, oh, it's just a local show. Go if you want, but whatever, just to support your friends. But there's actually incredible talent that I had no idea existed. And I was just kind of ignorant to that before the podcast, honestly. I was a voice major at UNO, and they basically just drilled opera into your system. And I mean, I love opera. I think it's very beautiful, and I feel like I had the voice for it, but I wanted more like pop punk kind of stuff in my personal way, and that wasn't an option, so I decided to go with music tech, and now like I can just be behind the scene and create my music the way I want to create it, and also help others produce their music and just share it with everybody. And I think that's really cool. Well, we're bowlers.
Yeah, we both bowl. I seen Deanna bowl a 300 one time, so that's pretty cool.
And a $2.99 the other month. Damn it.
Okay, let's go to real fun facts. Let's
Okay.
think of something.
I don't know. Am I fun?
Yeah,
I don't think.
That's
We have
a
a-
real fun fact
actually,
question.
we have a lot of similarities. So we both play drums. Yeah, we can start there. We both bowl.
My first song on drums was "Come Together" by the Beatles, I guess.
My
It's a little easy, but
My first song, we actually talked about this beforehand. My first song probably was a song called "Kill Rock and Roll" by System of a Doubt.
yeah.
I don't know. We don't have too much. I mean, I'm sure if you guys like keep on digging and ask us questions, you can find some fun facts. But on the spot, it's pretty tough. Maybe we'll come back to
yeah, I have no idea. Alex Sloan. Oh, he had like an injury.
Yeah.
He's blind in one eye, I believe. I don't remember what we were talking about other than that.
He had a farming accident.
Okay.
Ty. Let's see. Ty Leslie. Who? Should we just tell him the behind the scenes? Switch outfits.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so Alex and Ty's podcast, we recorded the same day, but Deanna came up with this great idea to make it seem like we didn't record on the same day. So I switched outfits between the two to make it seem like it wasn't recorded on the same day.
It's a fun fact about that.
You
Devin and Eddie. I don't think Eddie was even going to be there that night. Just like,
So-
welcome, Eddie.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So I guess I'll give some detail about that one. So the third podcast that we recorded was Devin Price and Eddie Dietz. So Devin Price I had Spencer Maloney scheduled for our third podcast. And he's like, well, I can send Eddie there to do mine. And in the meantime, I had already asked Devin. So Devin shows up and then Eddie Dietz comes because Spencer told Eddie to show up. But I didn't know that.
For Spencer, 1, 2, 3.
Aliens!
Flakus.
First live music on the podcast. So he brought his guitar rig and we kind of
Just
plugged
plugged
in,
it in. Added some EQs.
played some riffs.
It was fun.
And he
I
actually
liked it.
showed one of his first riffs from the song Light of the Moon
Oh, yeah.
from Witherfang. Wither Decay. What do you got for Wither Decay?
Wither Decay. That was a really fun game we did with them.
Yeah, so this was one of the first, I guess we did one with Anthony, but this was one of the first games we did. So we asked trivia questions to each one of the guests, and they had consequences for each one. And if they got it wrong, they were served a consequence that they had to do at their next show that they played. So for example, Alex Narducci messed up a question for Josh Bratton, therefore he had to impress Alex Sloan by doing 10 stick tricks in one song.
Did you ever do it?
I don't know.
Peter, his middle name is
Chang. If you watch you can actually watch the full podcast, but if you also watch the sneak peek, it's only about 1:59, just under 2 minutes or so. I just watched it.
Oh, I was like, how do you know?
I just watched it. He exposes his middle name is Chang. Tale Untold. Fun fact about the Tale Untold: they let out the news that they were going to have a pajama party,
And they wore all onesies. It was fun.
and they all matched too.
Yeah.
And we attended, so that was a great show.
It really was. Ethan Ball and Jake Schoening.
I got Jake's. You got
Ethan is a very talented artist, both musically, like screaming and everything, but also with his T-shirt design. I think it's
Daisuke Despair.
I think it's Daisu. I think it's pronounced a little differently. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it.
Tricky.
But it's
Something like
it's
that.
really cool, and he's coming out with a Pastel Dreams. I think it came out tonight, so January 24th, and it's really awesome. So you should definitely check out his stuff.
And Jake Schoening, fun fact, he is the vocalist for a band called Live in a Bay. You might have heard of him, you may have not. For the first few songs he had.
Previous band.
Oh, previous band. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
not
Previous
Live in a
band he didn't ever actually have lyrics for. He kind of just went up on the stage and just started screaming.
Yep. But yeah, Dear Neighbor, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're just really wholesome guys.
And Cody saved a man.
Yeah, he did.
And Corey has
So-
Jesus hair, so.
That's all you need to know, really.
Yeah.
Everbloom.
Everbloom, the first ever podcast opened up by an acoustic set. So
Yeah.
the
Just
way
very impromptu.
yeah, so the way that happened, Deanna has an assortment of instruments here at the house, and we kind of just threw some instruments in front of them. The idea came to play an intro, and they obliged.
It was cool.
Yeah, sick.
Forrest is now, I don't know if he's an analyst of some sorts at Riot Gaming, I think, in California. That's pretty cool.
And if you look back at our pictures, it's actually Forrest and I playing games, so it's kind of like a preview to the future. What's up?
Austin Gall.
Ooh, fun fact about Austin.
He started young.
Yeah, he started promoting, I think he said at the
High
age
school.
of 15 or 16.
Yeah, and he like almost went broke several times, but he just kept paying the money forward to help support these bands and push them to get the attention that he felt they deserved. It's really cool.
Yeah, if you want a success story, that's one. Just look at that podcast. Number 13. Okay, number 14, Beulah and Staghorn. So, this one's a little bit longer of a story. So, I'm sitting at a coffee shop. This gentleman by the name of James Wetmore hits me up and he's like, hey, how much time in advance do you need before recording a podcast? I'm like, generally, we record them on Fridays. And he's like, well, I have a couple bands from out of town that may want to jump on your show. And I'm like, okay. So, I hit up Deanna.
It's like a Saturday morning, I was laying in bed.
I hit up Deanna, and we ended up recording at a boba
tea shop?
Yeah, boba tea shop.
Yeah, I think it might have been boba.
With
yeah.
a band, actually 2 bands. One band was by the name of Beulah, which is from an island called Malta, not connected to Italy at all.
It
Don't get that
literally
confused.
means phlegm.
Yeah,
So,
phlegm.
like, that's really funny when they're podcasts and they describe it.
And then the band Staghorn is from, I think it's Urbana, Illinois, and they live on a self-sustaining farm, which is
Very cool.
absolutely nuts. Oh, by the way.
Oh, are you wearing?
Woo!
And their music is like a storyline, so they'll read parts of the story and then play music to describe like the feelings and emotions during it. And they're just really cool people.
Really dope.
Yoga for cats.
Ooh, fun fact. Brandon Rodriguez has this fun thing called a foot whip. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check out the Kitchen Questionnaire, episode 15. And he also played Eruption by Van Halen on a ukulele.
That was fun.
That was amazing.
Did I record that?
I was
Live
calling
stream? Oh.
I was calling Devin
Devin?
Price.
Oh, I remember talking to him
Yeah,
that night. Okay.
16.
Keeper of the morgue. Fun dudes.
What do you got for him?
Oh,
I got it. Okay. I'll put you on
They
the
have
spot.
mustaches.
They do have mustaches. Okay. Both of their guitarists are active in the military right now, although the way they met
Yeah.
the way they met was through the internet. So Steven had moved to Omaha from Virginia, I think it was, and he joined a group after speaking with a guy named Koopshu, who works at DIWT Music, and he asked for a way to find other musicians. He joined a group, found Matt McClure. They found the drummer Gage Eden off of Craigslist, and I don't know how they found Fred.
Fred just popped up one day and I was like, okay,
Fred.
you're in.
Yeah, amazing story.
Tim Tilsty. Oh, Blessed and the Merciless are officially not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I broke that news.
But he also really enjoys craft beer.
And he drinks the nastiest, like 13%, the shittiest beer. Like, it was like those beers where you're like,
Super dark and like, yeah, it was intense. But
Nasty.
it's high alcohol content. So 18 is Tyler and Jeff.
yeah, fun fact about them. Let's see, first all drummer podcast. This is one that I will actually consider myself as a drummer. We drum talk in it. We also get very off topic. And we also, Jeff and I expose what kind of friendship we have. Really threw Tyler number 2 off.
Yeah, I think he was not prepared for that. And I'd like, honestly, to you guys have like a one-on-one too. Like I feel like Tyler has like a lot to share, and I would like to see that.
Agreed.
Even Jeff, a one-on-one.
Andy used to play in a band called By the Thousands, if you ever heard of him. If you ever heard of him.
I need to talk to him because I met a guy in California who also played. He was the drummer for that.
Oh, what the
Oh my
heck?
goodness.
Somebody's faking.
Because we did a music festival in New York together. Anyways, moving on. Episode 19 is Bree, and she is very kind and loves her dog, apparently, from her sneak peek.
Yeah.
Hangs out with her dog a lot. But the way she got an emo night was really cool. Austin had to step out one night, and she just kind of filled in. She was previously associated
Slid
with
right on in.
third string, and the next day emo night just offered her a job, which is
Now she's
pretty sweet.
going all over the freaking U.S.
Yeah, it's awesome. And last but not least,
Andy Zamani. Andy Zamani. One of my favorite podcasts personally. We stayed on topic the whole time. He's a very genuine guy.
Mm-hmm.
We learned about the very beginning, the middle, and the end of Your Last Chance. And I heard a rumor that he messages people that have went to a show and thanks them for coming out. It's very awesome.
Very cool.
But
So, we wanted to thank everybody for coming and watching all of these 20 episodes. If you haven't, it's okay. We still love you.
yeah.
And we just really appreciate all the support so far.
And you can find us on Facebook, Digging In with Tyler. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud. If you want to check out Deanna's company, it's called Corvus Studios. You can find them on Facebook as well. You can actually find her address on the internet. Whoops. Whoops. But yeah, anyhow, thank you for all the support so far. We're going to keep it going for the rest of 2020. If you're interested in being on Digging In with Tyler, just hit us up. We're always, anybody's welcome here. We're looking forward to 2020, so thank you for all the support so far. We appreciate it.
One last thing to think about is cereal soup. We'll leave you with that.
Keep your composure. I can't do it. You got pretty far. Got through 17. Oh, it's already cracked. Just fucking break it more.
Just fucking break it.
Fucking break it, man! Surprise, motherfucker!